Okay, hello, everybody. Hi, Rach.
Hi, Angie.
Hi. So I think today we'll do some Q&A. If people want to ask, we are going to also, I think is Linda in here?
Yes, she is.
Okay, we wanted to underwrite yours, right?
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind.
Okay.
Cool.
We're gonna have Dylan should be at his desk in 1 second.
He's gonna get printed.
Thank you.
Yes. Let's go grab it.
I might have another sub 2 student also jump in. He emailed me, Angie.
Okay.
He's got like quite a few single family portfolio kind of thing that he's wanting some help on. So if he jumps in, we might want to start helping him underwrite that deal.
Okay. There we go. Okay, here comes Dylan. Just give me a sec.
Because
Does anybody have any questions right now?
yeah, I was just about to ask that too. Everyone seems to be kind of quiet.
I do.
Yeah, go ahead.
I am going to go see a house in a little bit, talk to a customer or a homeowner who's in trouble. And I tried to reach out to the agent first. Auction is, this one's either Friday or, yeah, I think this one's Friday this week. The plaintiff is HOA. And I think it's $11,000 is the dollar amount. Anyway, his job has him in the pickle that he's in, an injury has him in the situation. I assumed it was job. I'll know more later. Anyway, the realtor or the agent did not reach back out to me. I reached out last night with a phone call and a text, and then I went over to door knock and talked to the customer or the homeowner today. So I'm going to go see him at 5. It's been on the market more than 200 days.
Oh.
It doesn't seem to me, I don't know what I'm going to find when I get over there. I might find that there's, that he's upside down or even no equity at all. I don't know. But I know there's still going to be some commitment to the agent, right?
Yeah.
I mean, because it is, in fact, it does show listed, but if the agent didn't do any of this, do I communicate with the agent after I talk to this homeowner? Do they expect a full commission? What do you think?
So that's all negotiable. The
Okay.
commissions with the agent. And, if he's trying to help his client, he'll negotiate his commissions, typically they will. That's all hearsay. So if he does, that'd be great. Like Dylan just did one yesterday. He submitted an offer and said that we would give the agent up to 2%, and they were good with that.
Mhm.
Because sometimes when you have a listing, it could be like 3.5% that they get. And they could say, no, I don't want it. But this agent, for instance, was willing to take the 2%. So it's all negotiable. Commissions are negotiable.
Well, and does their commitment to the agent just keep on going? The listing until
So
it's.
they have so when you do a listing, you have a start and an end date for your listing.
Mhm.
So unless the seller tells the agent they want to terminate, there's an expiration date. And it sounds like it's been on there for quite some time, so it may be ready to expire.
Okay.
So
should I
ask the seller that.
Ask the seller that when I get there to see if he has his contract from his agent. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And you kind of want to see how much equity he's got.
Yeah.
How much he owes on it, what it's even worth, what the condition is, and then just call us and then we'll help you.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
was briefly on the phone, but I'm sure Angie covered this, but can you get a mortgage statement from him
I'm
tonight?
gonna try when I'm there. I just, like I said, I think this auction is on Friday. I
Yeah.
had the wrong number from True People, so I just went to knock the door this morning. It looked like or sounded like he had company there, so he didn't want to talk about it. Which I understand, of course.
Mhm.
So he said, "Can I call you back in about an hour?" And he actually did. I was kind of surprised. I thought I was gonna have to go over there again, because sometimes they're just not wanting to deal.
Mhm.
And he said that he goes, "We're in real trouble here." I said, "Well, do you have some place to go?" He goes, "No, not right now. I don't know what's happening." So I said, "Okay, well, I can come over this evening. We can figure out what's going on and see what kind of resolution there might be for you." So I'll go prepared to show him all the kinds of options that he cannot even do, just so he knows that we're at a situation that maybe we're the answer. And if there's any space in there at all, maybe there's a little bit of a holdback. So he's got 30 days to find a place or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Yeah,
if you have any questions while you're there, you can call me.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, no, thanks, Angie, for that, because I was gonna also text Robin that as well. But like, it's a shame because that agent, like, I'm sorry, but like, this is kind of what shows you like good realtor, bad realtor.
200 and some days. Come on.
Yeah, and like, no offense, like they're gonna lose their house on Friday if they don't help the seller, like, not okay in my mind.
Me either. And I don't have any negative pictures about agents at all, but I'm just thinking, I called this agent. I think I mentioned in the text or the message that it looks like this house will be up for auction this week. Please give me a call back.
And nothing,
No response of any kind.
Oh, my gosh.
unbelievable.
It's terrible.
But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and that, like I said, just call me if you're there and you have questions. Okay. And then Dylan, if you want to start with Linda's.
No, you're good, bro.
Yeah. Let's pull it up. And Linda, you're okay with us showing this one on the Zoom?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I mean, if it helps other people too, so that'd be fine.
Okay. So let me pull it up. And this is in Pueblo then, huh?
Ooh, Pueblo West.
Yes. And
Is
it
it?
was just sent to me today.
That's what the address said, Pueblo West.
Okay.
Oh,
Is
Do
it?
you want me to double check my email?
No, it's fine. Let me plug it in PropStream.
I'll double check it.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it says Pueblo West fourplex.
82.
Shoot, maybe you can click add call and then just type in the number that you got.
Can I pull up the attachment? Did you find it?
I think so.
Okay.
At least on PropStream, I found it. Does this look like it?
Let me get back over to the Zoom. I think so. It's a pretty neat, it's pretty, I don't want to say like new, but it is a not super old build.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, Pueblo West. And I'm not too familiar with Pueblo. But yeah, so off market, seller finance terms available, 850. How did you find this, Linda? Linda? Did I lose it?
I don't know, like, she's not muted.
it's off market. So, but her
I think I heard her say that like someone sent it to her to this morning. So like, I don't know if it's like another wholesaler sent it to her. I don't know. Now she's muted, so I don't know. Her service might not be that good.
Okay. Yeah, because it doesn't, or I guess, yeah, it does have 850.
That's like a good location.
Is it?
Yeah, because it's 10 minutes away from the North Shore Marina. That's a good area in Pueblo West.
Okay.
That's like something like I would be interested in.
Okay. So 850,000 for a duplex, 2 units, 3-bed, 2-bath, 2 units, two. Oh, so no, okay, sorry. It's a 4-plex. That's better. 4-car garage. Sits on almost an acre, $2,300 in taxes. That's cheaper than my house. Individual tenants, the owner pays for water and sewer and 140 a quarter for trash. Rents in place are between 1,050, 1,375 per unit across the board, 3 of which are month to month or notice has been provided to vacate. Okay, interesting. We have owners of Pueblo West receiving 1,550 plus revs for smaller units. Owners also state that lot should be allowed or allow option to build another 4-plex on. Windows are vinyl, Searscape landscaping, washer dryer hookups in units. Roof is new 2017. Okay, nice. It has a rent roll. So April 1 increase to 1,075. 10 has been given notice. These guys' lease expires in August. April 1st rent to 1275. Okay, so they bumped it up. Okay, so yeah, there must be some type of agent capstone on the property. This looks like kind of
So yeah, it's a broker who actually sent this to me.
okay, gotcha.
So he knows that we are looking for properties that are creative.
Okay,
So actually, like last week, the one you guys did, I wasn't able to jump on the Zoom. That was an off-market property that for like, it was that 8-bedroom, each of
Yeah.
them 1 bedroom, 1 bath in near the Olympic Stadium or something like that.
okay.
It's the same broker who sent me that one.
Oh, beautiful. Okay. So he wants 850 with 25% down. So let's see what that looks like. Down payment. So they are asking for a $212,500 down payment, and then he will owner carry the rest. So 850 minus 212.5, 637,500, 5% for 30 years. And it said balloon at 15 max. Okay. So I'm going to take, and then am I missing anything else? Down payment 25, nope, okay. So we are going to throw this in the amortization calculator, 5.5%. So 3619. And that's just principal and interest. So 3619 plus taxes and insurance. I think he said taxes. 2347. That should be annual. plus $195, it was about 196. Plus insurance, does it say anything about insurance? $3,900 is how much he paid, it looks like. Yep, so 325, okay. So our total PITI is 3619 plus 196 plus 325 equals $4,140. Okay, and then go back to your email. So right, even at current rents or increased rents, it is barely bringing that in. So we'll take this number 1275 plus 1375. It sounds like this tenant won't be here, so we'll just estimate that we can get 1375 for this one as well, and then we'll estimate 1075 for this one. So total rent is 5,100. Okay. And then I want to take a look at, also go back to their expenses. So their gross potential revenue, in place rent per market rent. So gross revenue is 59,700. I basically want to see how much they calculated for vacancy. So I'm going to take 2,388 divided by 59,700. See what that percentage is. 4%. So they're calculating 4% for vacancies. Usually we do about 5%. So I'd probably bump that number up a little bit. So they did make 57,312. I just want to see what that average is. 4776. And then their total expenses. So again, I want to see what percentage they're calculating in for expenses. So 13,107 divided by 59,700, 21% in expenses. But you can see here, they're not calculating anything for management, administration, payroll, repairs and maintenance. That's around $300 a month. That's pretty reasonable. So they're also including taxes and insurance in here, utilities, other, this could be, who knows what that is. But yeah, again, it's tough whenever sellers put together an offering memorandum and they, yep, monthly insurance, Enrique, yep. Yeah, Lily, for sure, we'll take a look at your deal too. So we'll include utilities and taxes and insurance. Well, actually, we already include taxes and insurance. So again, rent, like the vast majority of property management companies, right, are charging 10%. Plus additional fees on that. So automatically 10% of your rent every month is going towards a property manager. They usually will take your first month's rent from a tenant if they put that tenant in place. If that same tenant renews, they take, usually it's anywhere, they take a flat fee, and it could be like $250 as a flat fee. But if they replace that tenant, then they're taking their first month's again, plus 10% for the rest. So like, really 10% for property management is always a guarantee. Sometimes it's higher. If you can get someone at 8%, that's great. But again, we always calculate 10% for property management. And then at least another 5 for, like I said, vacancy, right? And then maybe another 5 for maintenance as well. So they're at 20%, and that's not including property management. It is including taxes and insurance. So we'll have that up here. So again, I'm going to multiply this by 0.8 to take 20% for property management, vacancies, maintenance, capital expenditures, war chest, right? Like this is a very conservative number, just 0.8. So let's see what that number is. 5,100 times 0.8 equals 4,080, right? So immediately you can see our PITI is already higher than what we can expect to net after expenses. And this was very similar to the last one too, Linda, like why we would have to have it at 0.5% interest is because there's just not enough cash flow to support, right? Like the rent is only $1,000 higher than the existing mortgage that they're offering. Now, that's great. $1,000 a month in cash flow is great. But with such a high down payment, if even if you manage this yourself, right, in 10 years, let's say you have to replace the roof again, there goes all of your profit for that previous 10 years. So I always wonder why agents or brokers don't underwrite these and say, yeah, we're offering seller finance. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me, you know? I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on this, Linda?
No, I mean, that looks good. If you could send that to me, and then maybe if I share it with the broker and say, hey, look, these are the numbers and this is what we're coming at. There's no way this is going to work for anybody who is going to properly underwrite this. Either he has to come down on the interest, and or he needs to
Right.
on price or something.
Yeah, price or interest, right? The down payment's not necessarily going to affect the cash flow. Only the interest rate and the price are going to affect that. So
He did say he may take a lower price. He did say that in the email.
okay.
So
Still, I don't know what makes sense. Like, let's take 200 grand off. That
Yeah.
might make sense. So if we were at 2484 plus 196 plus 325. Yeah, that makes sense. If they take 200 grand off, and then our PITI is actually at 3,005, right? Now we're making $1,000 a month after debt service, after 80 or 20% in expenses. But even still then, right? Like,
that's still tight.
take a look at this. Yeah, if we're making, right, what's 4,080 minus 3,005, 1,075. So if I'm making $1,075 a month times 12 to get your annualized return, that's 12,900. What I'm going to do now is then divide it by my entry, right? So 212,500. It will be more than that as well, right? Like if we were going to wholesale this, there's an assignment fee. If there's obviously closing costs, all of that good stuff. But we'll just say 212,500 or 212,500. That's a 6% cash on cash return. At $650,000. Now let's do 650 times 0.25. Okay, so let's redo this at 650,000. 25% down payment, so 650 times 0.25. So this would change to 162,500. 400. Oh, I messed something up. Okay, so our actual loan amount would be for 487, 600. Again, same interest rate. Right, yeah, I want to say he said, yeah, 5.5% interest rate. 2768. 2768 plus 196 plus 325. So that'll bring our total PITI to 3289. Right, so a little bit different, 4,080 minus 3,289. So our actual cash flow is 791 times 12. $492 divided by our actual entry now of 162,400. That's a 5.8% cash on cash return. So this is what's killing us right here, the 5.5% interest rate.
Okay, so what type of interest rate do you think we need to try to shoot for?
So this is how I will reverse engineer. So hopefully this makes sense for all of you guys. That's why seller finance is so tough. It's like there's three levers, right? Purchase price, down payment, and then monthly payments / interest rate, right? Whatever. But those three levers, right? Typically, two of them can be in the seller's favor. So you have to figure out what's the most important to them. Typically, it's always going to be price and down payment. That's mostly what they care about. It could be price and monthly payment, right? So there's always has to be a give and a take. If you want to pick the price and the down payment, I get to pick the interest rate, or vice versa. If you want to pick the price and the interest rate, I need to pick the down payment. Right. And I'm always going to shoot for as low as possible, but the seller, vice versa, is going to shoot for as high as possible, right? So that's why seller finance is such a give and take. But even then, it's like, we'll give you 2 out of the 3. We just need that third to be in our favor. So they said the price is negotiable.
Hey, Dylan, I have a quick question.
Let me
Sure.
double check,
I missed it by a quick phone call. But did you consider all of your numbers with the property management fee of like, let's say 10%? Because I think
Yeah.
on the fee, okay,
Yeah.
you did.
Yeah, you were sneezing. Yeah. Always. Yeah. So my rent actually is at 20% expenses. So 10% for property management, and then another 10% for vacancies, maintenance, capital expenditures, things like that.
Okay, just double checking.
So maybe price isn't the most important to this guy. It sounds like down payment is, and then probably monthly payments are. So if the price is negotiable, again, we just tried to negotiate our price $200,000 off. Even with a 25% down payment, it doesn't work. So really, like for as the investor, right, we do not care about price. Obviously we do, but price is not the most important out of those 3 factors. The 2 I care about the most are down payment and monthly payments, because those are the 2 determining factors that make my cash on cash return, right? Again, for everybody in here, seller finance, like I'll pay $1 billion for this property right here, this one that we're looking at. The reason I'll do that is if in this scenario, so Jen asks, is it common to ask for so much off the price nowadays? I wouldn't say it's common, but it's not uncommon. I would say that's kind of hard to say, but yeah, I would pay $1 billion for this property if, let's say, the seller was to accept a 0 down payment and I paid him $1 for 1 billion months, right? Then I'm cash flowing like crazy. Like I don't care what the purchase price is. I care how much it's going to cost me to get into the deal and how much am I making monthly. Those are the 2 things I care about the most. So that's why it's always great for me. Like here, you want 850,000. So I'm going to redo it. So actually we'll just use the same one. So you want 850,000. Sure. No problem. You want a 25% down payment. That's if my interest rate is where I need it to be. So again, if we have a 25% down payment, so 500. What about a master lease or an option to buy for $1 billion? Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. Master lease, option to buy, contract for deed, executory contract. Same thing. I mean, seller finance, same thing, different mechanism, but basically the same thing. Would he accept $1 billion offer if I was to offer nothing down with a, you know, $100 a month, $200 a month, even $1,000 a month for however many years? Maybe, who knows? You know, I probably wouldn't, you know, because it doesn't make fiscal sense, right? It's going to be $1,000 a month for 1,000 years probably. So Joel asked, quick question: if an agent asks for credibility, we close sub twos. If an agent asks for credibility, we close sub twos. What can I leverage ethically? Joel, you can leverage any deal Pace has closed. You can leverage any deal that we have closed. We are actually planning this next weekend to sit down and revise our credibility letter, and include some HUD statements, some more phone numbers for referrals, title companies. So if you're a part of our Elephant Challenge team, Joel, we'll let you use our credibility if you JV it on your deal with us. So Robin says, I just got off the phone with 3 realtors here in California, have properties going in escrow with offers offers significantly over asking. I was surprised. One said that it has to do with more low inventory, that interest rates for mortgage. Yeah, definitely interesting, Robin. Okay, sorry. So let me get back to this. So, right, we're going to delete this interest rate. We already know he's okay with a 15-year balloon. That's great for us, right? So now, how am I going to figure out I can delete this, right? Because we're going to come up with where I need my interest rate to be. And how I do that is reverse engineer my cash on cash, right? So I already know how much I'm putting down is 212,500. Now, again, so usually what I'll do, right, is I'll take my annual cash flow and divide it by my entry fee to get my cash on cash. So the reverse of that is I'm going to take my down payment and multiply it by my desired cash on cash, and that's going to give me the monthly or the annual the annual money that I need to make, right? So my perfect cash on cash is 15%. I probably didn't explain that well, but I'll show it to you here. So 212,000 times 0.15 is that calculation. So that equals $31,875. That's the number that I would need to make annually for this to be a good deal for me, based on bringing $212,000 to the closing table. Now, to get that monthly, I'm going to divide it by 12. And that number equals $2,656 a month. So if that's what I need to make, right? I already know what my rent after expenses is. Okay, so I'm going to take my rent, right? Already after my 20% in expenses, so 4,080 is how much I am netting after expenses. Subtract the profit I need to make of 2,656. Okay, so and I'll put that calculation down here. So 4,080 subtract 2,656. That number equals $1,424. I think I asked this question last week. Do you typically use or have a cash on cash return spreadsheet? Yes, Adrian. Yeah, we do. We do have a cash on cash spreadsheet. I don't typically use it just because I like to freehand things, but there are some good calculators out there. So we have this deal or no deal calculator, which you can find in our Facebook group. But yeah, this is a cash on cash calculator that you can find in our Facebook group. And let me show you how to find that real fast. So if you go to Facebook, I think I'm in my other Facebook account, but our Facebook group is called Herd of Profits.
I put the link.
Oh, you did? Okay. Yeah, that's probably a lot better. Yep. So yeah, Adrian, go and check out our Facebook group. Go to the files tab and you should find that deal or no deal calculator right there. Okay, so but I asked this last week. I want to know if anyone can guess. Someone did guess it too. Do you guys know what this number means? So, and I'll reiterate it again, right? So if my rent is 4,080, again, net after expenses, and my profit I need to make is 2,656, what does this number mean? A Darian, my bad. Did I say it right that time? Nope, not quite, Enrique. Darian, got you, man. So we're missing something, right? Like, what am I missing? So if my rent is 4,080, my cash I needs to make, yep, Pamela got it. That's my payment. That's how much I can afford to pay my seller finance note, essentially. So if he is going to be carrying 637,000 and I can only afford to pay him $1,424 a month, he's most likely going to be getting a 0% interest over 50 years. Let's see. Very close. Let's see, 40. A little better, maybe 35 actually. Sure, we'll call that good. So this is my offer. I will accept your $850,000 price. I will give you a 25% down payment. 15-year balloon, that's great for me, but I need a 0% interest amortized over 35 years. Jen asks if this number 196 minus 325, that is what I can pay to the owner. Oh, right. Actually, no, yeah, you're right. That's what I can pay in principal, interest, taxes, and insurance as well, too. So it's this number minus, where am I at? It's this number minus my taxes of 196 minus my insurance of 325. That's possible too. Joel, no payments for 2 years. So yeah, I need to pay this guy $900 a month. So yeah, that probably is gonna be 50 years. Pretty close. Call that 50 years. Joel said, I heard Jabs was saying to meet their down payment, he will do no payment for those 2 years. That's another negotiating piece too. That's why like seller finance is so great, is because everything's negotiable. Not only is the price, down payment, and interest rate negotiable, but like the term, the balloon, the when my payments start, like maybe I can negotiate the seller. Sounds like he's an experienced property manager. Maybe he can do my property management for me, for free. And that decrease my cost right there. So that's another way we can go at it. But yeah, for this deal, again, to make sense, like it just has to be at a 0% interest rate. And that's too why, Linda, like why Colorado is so tough. We were looking at a triplex in Denver, in St. Augustine with Pamela that cash flowed for, it was making more than $4,000. Again, just a triplex making more than $4,000 a month. And the price on that was 330 something thousand. That's why Colorado is so tough, even in Pueblo. What was that?
Yeah, it's crazy tough there. I'll get back with the broker and see what we could come up with and see if they're willing to budge at all. I mean, I know a lot of them are trying to get out of the whole multifamily and just get out of rentals because of potential laws coming up.
Right. And that's another selling point. Like, you want me to take this over with the existing, like, you want a buyer to buy this with the laws that they know are about to come up. Like, it's unfortunate, but for these multifamily investors, for landlords in Colorado, like, that new bill that passed ruined, maybe not ruined, but really hurt the ability to sell your multifamily property because no one wants to own or be a landlord in Colorado anymore. So, very tough. Yeah. Like, I don't want to own any other properties in Colorado. I refuse to. If those are the laws, I will own stuff in Texas and North and South Carolina, Georgia, Florida. So yeah, I'd say get back with the agent, see what they say.
Okay, will do. Thanks.
Jen says, what is the new bill in Colorado? I'm not too up to date on all the particulars. I've just heard some horror stories. They're saying that for tenants to be, if you want to evict a tenant, you have to pay them 3 or 4 months of rent. Bunch of crazy stuff. Yeah, Joel says come to Texas. Yeah, I'll be there. I might move to Tennessee, or I probably wouldn't move to Tennessee, but like where I would have some really nice, or have a lot of my rental portfolio is Tennessee. They have no state income tax, lower property taxes compared to Texas, and it's just beautiful in Tennessee in some parts. So, let me make sure. Adarian says, do y'all do anything in Oklahoma? Absolutely. Yeah, we just sold a property in Oklahoma last week. Do you recommend single family homes and multifamily, or just as long as the numbers work? What bill? Yeah, definitely recommend everyone get started in single family, get your feet wet, buy a few rental properties or wholesale a few rental properties, really get familiar with the terminology, know how to underwrite, and then maybe get into multifamily. They're just two completely different worlds. I would say single family is like little leagues and multifamily is like the pros. You know, every broker or agent you talk to has just a different vernacular. They're only dealing with high level real estate investors versus your average single family agent, right? Does not know anything about what investors look for. So yeah, definitely get your feet wet in single family investing, buy and holds, and then I would work your way to multifamily. Jen says, what would the deal term look like if no payment for 2 years? It would just allow us to save up some reserves. You know, there's so many what ifs in seller finance, you know, like, well, what if they did this? But in my experience, you never want to negotiate with yourself a ton of different ways, right? To figure out how it could work, because the seller could just immediately say no. So, you know, I'll do the reverse engineer and say, okay, well, if you want this price and this down payment, here's the interest rate I can give you. If that doesn't work for you, let me know what works for you, but I'm not going to underwrite this 1,000 different ways. At the end of the day, the seller is the bank. So tell me what terms you absolutely need it at. I'll see if it works for me. If not, I'm not a good fit for him. So, absolutely. Yeah. But yeah, Oklahoma is a really good market. Tulsa, other parts of Oklahoma, OKC are really great. Cheap market, high rents, or at least, you know, decent rents compared to the price of homes. Absolutely, Jen. Yeah, we have closed quite a few deals in North Carolina. We have a lot of marketing campaigns going on in North Carolina as we speak. We really like the Carolinas, Georgia, and Florida, Texas, Arizona as well. So make sure I'm not missing anything. Oh yeah, Rachel posted something about the new laws. Do you have rentals? You've been paying attention, Colorado legislation. Yeah, that's a long thread. You guys can read through that if you'd like to know kind of what's going on. This is just in Colorado, but I'm sure, yeah, Robin, it is awful.
Yeah, that's an email that Seth actually got that he kind of like sent to me. It's in like an email like chain, so I just kind of like copy the whole email for everyone.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna push evictions out by 6 months. You'll have to pay a bunch of money if you want to evict someone. Like, it's just horrible. It's like telling a sandwich shop owner that they have to keep, they can't sell as many sandwiches as as the market would allow. They can't sell them for as much as the market would allow. At that point, basically the sandwich shops are just going to start shutting down, and then people aren't going to have sandwiches. Same thing in real estate. People are not going to want to own rental properties in Colorado. So the people that do are going to jack up the rents because it's such a risky business to own a rental property. So Enrique says, what are your top strategies for coming up with a down payment if you don't have the full amount? Yeah, Enrique, I mean, there's a lot of strategies, right? The first one is having a good deal. If you have a good deal, buyers, private money lenders will come out of the woodworks to loan you money or buy that deal. Harder said than harder to do that than it's actually said. But if you can find a really good deal, then yeah. What we do, I mean, because we are leaders in the sub-2 community, we're I would say pretty well known in the community. It's not very difficult for us to get private money lenders if we have a good deal and the numbers make sense. A private money lender also knows who we are, knows that we're credible and that we do deals, and they also can see that the numbers of the deal make sense. So yeah, Enrique, I would say just like credibility and then having a good deal are your top two strategies for coming up with a down payment. I want to say your name, but I don't want to mess it up. Is it on? I don't even know how to say it. Is it Andre Lipsky? Andre. Okay. Thoughts on master leases? A fee for those are good if you think that prices will keep going down. You want a contract for a long time. Can you elaborate on that, Andre? I'm not too sure what you mean by that. Oh, and Loans with Lily had a deal too. I don't know if she's still here.
She's still here.
Okay. Lily, are you there?
I think she emailed it to you, Dylan.
Okay, let me check.
Yes, I'm here. Thank you.
You're welcome. I almost forgot about you. Yeah.
It's okay.
Is this a multifamily? Yeah, it is.
Yes.
10 property. Okay. Where did you get this one? A broker send it to you?
Actually, it's a good friend of mine that owns it. And it's in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Okay.
And he's a flipper. He was gonna put it on the market, but he realized the cash flow was really strong. And so he started considering a refi. So I was talking to him about refinancing this for him. And all of a sudden we started talking about selling it on seller finance deal.
Mm-hmm.
But since he hasn't done any deals like this, what he's asking for is over the top, like what you were saying earlier. They want, the whole pie to themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm wondering like how you would, I guess, approach it or structure it, but he does want a lump sum, right? As a down payment. So this property, according to this realtor broker, or this brokerage that was going to list it, believes it's worth around 1.2 million. It's
Okay.
10 units.
Keep going. I can hear you. I just got to go grab a
Okay,
tissue
yeah.
real quick.
The loan balance is around 315,000. It's what he owes. He simply wants to take out 300,000. So that could even serve as a down payment for an investor. 300,000, and the rest financed, seller financed. But even 300,000 is a lot for, it's a large entry fee, right, for any investor. So would this, the Mortgage method is what I was thinking. Is this what we would use in that case? And if so, we would have him, right, refinance a property like up to like maybe 75%, and then the investor will bring in another private money investor to finance the 25 or 30%, the remaining 25-30%. And then that money will go, as I understand, to the owner, right, the seller, but
Mhm.
then he would return it right back to the buyer and seller finance that portion.
Yeah, yep, exactly.
Okay.
I would say, 300,000 on a what did we say, 1.2?
1.2.
Okay.
Sales prices up there at the right.
I think that's 20%. Yeah, 25%. When an investor is looking at a normal, again, just another multifamily property and they're going to get a conventional loan. It's pretty typical that most banks ask for anywhere from 20 to 30% as a down payment. So most people, in regards to larger multifamilies, are not going to balk at a 20 to 30% down payment. It's pretty typical if someone is looking to get into that space, because the vast majority of people that get into larger multifamilies obviously aren't individuals, at least, obviously some are, but most aren't. Most are capital raisers. So they syndicate, they get a few key principal partners and raise the down payment. So it's definitely not out of the realm of possibility for someone to bring $300,000 as a down payment. If that's really what he wants, and he wants the $1.2 million price, then we can just, do that same formula to figure out what we can pay him monthly, essentially, for it to make sense. And then again, like when I did my reverse engineering on the underwriting, a 15% cash on cash return for a single family is definitely achievable. For a multifamily, very achievable, but not very realistic. Most people, at least high level investors that buy rental, large multifamily properties, are okay with a 8 to 12% cash on cash return. Like here, a 7% cap rate. Most multifamily investors also don't really concern themselves with cash on cash. They care about cap rate. For me, I don't really care about cap rate. Cap rate basically tells you what you're making divided by the purchase price. And there's a thing called a market cap rate. So that's how people price their multifamily properties, is like, okay, in Albuquerque, New Mexico, that sounds like the average cap rate is going to be around 7. Here in Denver, the average cap rate is around 4. So, if someone buys a 5% cap rate in Denver, that's a good deal for them. But for me personally, I care more about cash on cash. And I just wanted to address Andre's question too about master leases. I think what you're talking about, Andre, master lease, there's also another term, it's called a lease sandwich, which is funny. We have wraps and sandwiches in real estate, but a lease sandwich is
Making me
essentially,
hungry.
Yeah, all right. Essentially, you lease exactly what Andre's talking about. You might offer a 10-year or 5-year contract to lease a building or a property, right? And then you're turning around and leasing it to someone else and making a profit in the middle. So that sounds like what you're talking about there, Andre. We don't do too much of that. We'd rather own properties or wrap them and make a 30-year return on our money, but definitely lease option, master leases, lease sandwiches are great strategies for people. That's why a lot of people do Airbnb arbitrage through that same method, or just lease arbitrage is what it's called. But yeah, I mean, it's not something we dabble in, but for sure, I think that's a good strategy. There's so many niches in real estate. That's why it's like you kind of got to pick one. And then become an expert in it. Thanks, Yara. Thanks for showing up. I appreciate it. Darren says, what about Taco Tuesday? We had In-N-Out Tuesday today. Yeah, Darren, let me finish this one and then we'll explain wraps. There's not a simple way to explain it. So let me finish this and then we'll explain wraps and then we'll call it a Zoom. So okay, I lost track. So yeah, Lily.
Can we, you were talking about how cash on cash is more important to you. So considering the Morby method approach with this deal, can we calculate that part, the cash on cash, what that would look like?
So Morby method is you wouldn't use Morby method in this scenario. Morby method is better for when someone is willing to wants a large down payment, meaning like 75%, 80%, and they're willing to carry
the purchase price
of the purchase price. Yeah, it sounds like he's willing to take 25% as a down payment, right?
Yeah, but then we would have to assume the balance, the current outstanding balance, right?
We could, if he's got a good loan on it. Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I thought he owned it outright.
No, he has a $315,000 balance on it.
Oh, so
okay,
he wants that money to pay that off?
No, I was thinking, it would be a hybrid, like you take over those payments and then seller finance the balance, but he wants $300,000 out of whatever equity he has left.
Okay.
Which is like what, maybe 800,000?
Yeah. So a Morby method is really tough, especially right now, because the types of loans you're going to get are around like 10, like 8% minimum, 8, 10, 12% minimum.
Oh, yeah.
So they're really tough.
Typically the seller doesn't have a loan balance, right?
Right. Well, they could because that loan would just go to paying that off. And then that's a great method if the numbers make sense. But really, if a seller needs all their equity and they're willing to carry a small amount, it sounds like he only needs a small down payment and he's willing to carry a large amount. So a hybrid is a better scenario for this one.
Okay. But just to that there is a possible scenario where he would take as much as we could give him, right? As much as we can take out on that cash out refi. So if we did do Morby method, then we would pay off the balance and give him up to 70% of the LTV. So would that work in that case? Like, because he does want a large. Yeah.
We would have to underwrite it, but my guess is just probably not at the interest rates that are that we would get. I mean, it's unlikely. It sounds like a better scenario, Lily, would be to take over his payments sub 2, raise the money to fund a down payment, so that way he can walk away with 300,000. That's not a large number. I mean, 25%, that's pretty standard. So I think you could easily raise that money for a down payment. So that way he has money in his pocket to go and play with. and then he seller finances the rest, hopefully at like 5% or 3% or whatever makes sense, you know.
Mhm,
Versus
mhm,
you getting a $800,000 loan at 10%, you know.
mhm.
So yeah,
Good point.
I would say, you know, for him to be able to kind of structure this, is he an agent or does he have an agent?
Uh, yeah, this agent here that's wanting to list this property, but he has him on hold because he's considering refinancing. Um, but the loan rates are pretty high there because this
Right.
would be a business purpose loan if we refinance him. And the rate's around 10%.
Right. So tough. Yeah. So
Yeah,
what does he need the money for? I don't know if
he's an
you know that
investor.
answer.
He's just wanting to invest in more, like buy and fix and flip.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. So he's considering selling it, but he doesn't want to lose the asset, it sounds like.
Right. Yeah. He doesn't want to
Yeah.
lose it, but so that's why I asked him, well, what about seller finance where you're still getting a lump sum of money and you get cash flow every month?
Right. With an interest rate, like, you know, just be a bank on it. That's literally when I'm old and
Mm-hmm.
ready to retire and sell my portfolio, I will sell all of my stuff on seller finance and be the bank on it. You know, like, why not earn 5% interest rate for the next 30 years and let my kids have that too? That way my kids don't have to worry about property management or any of that stuff. They're just a bank. They're getting mailbox money. Like, I will sell all of my stuff on seller finance when I'm ready, you know. Probably
Mm-hmm.
won't be for a while, but thanks, Pam.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. So yeah, I hope that helps. I would say for this, for your friend, to be able to structure this, and I can help with it too. I probably wouldn't, I wouldn't be a buyer for it, but I can help find buyers or, you know, help in any way I can, but maybe underwrite it and let him know, here's how I would structure this to be a good deal for me. And then maybe I can find you a buyer based on these terms, but I would need his mortgage to know information, like what's the balance, interest rate, PITI, all that stuff. What does he absolutely need as a bare minimum to walk away with? And then what is he okay with making monthly on the rest? So I just would need those three things, and then we could structure it and see if it makes sense for an investor.
He did suggest a very unique idea that I've never heard of. He said he would, instead of the monthly payments, he would like at the end of the year, like another lump sum payment, you know,
Okay.
like 100,000 or something at the end of the year. And I was calculating that, and I'm like, well, the investor would have a payment for the existing mortgage, and then, you know,
They'd have to just save
100,000.
some money. Yeah.
That basically everything, the entire cash flow is going to go towards paying him at the end of the year. Would that be at all appealing to any investor?
Just again, depends, like, you know, if someone was to syndicate this and they have a few investors pool their money, right? Typically, you have what's called a key principal. So someone that is the top dog investor that probably brings the majority of the money. And you can do what's called a capital call, meaning these investors know and are ready for the phone to ring and say, hey, we need another $100,000. Just all depends on the numbers, like how much, if this thing's cash flowing like crazy, I mean, sure, it makes sense, but if the numbers are real tight, probably not. So yeah, I would say for this to be kind of like it sounds like he really wants just a HELOC to pull money out of, kind of. I don't know if that's going to make sense for him. What about a type of line of credit? Could he do that? Could he just get a line of credit instead of refinancing the full amount? Can he just leverage a line of credit for the $300,000 on this home?
Yeah, he could. All of that is on the table. if he decides to hold the property. Yeah. But
Yeah,
I just started thinking for like for investors, like, would this be a good deal to pass on or partner with someone on it? But
yeah, yeah. I would say I don't think the Morby method makes sense. It could, but my guess is you'd rather go the sub two is loan, seller finance, raise money for the down payment route. But yeah,
okay,
it's a tough one. Sellers want
okay,
everything under the sun, so
yeah,
always hard to satisfy
okay,
them.
okay. That's
But
very helpful, all of it.
okay.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Lily. Yeah, and reach
Mhm.
out to if you need any help or he's interested in structuring that. So, Darian says, I have a question about the sub two method. Is an executive contract better? So let me answer those questions, Darian, and then we'll wrap up. So a wrap, even if you ask a real estate attorney what a wrap is, they're not going to be able to explain it to you simply. So in the most simple way possible, right? Let's go back to my underwriting, okay? So I will break this down for you pretty as simply as I can. So we'll do 300,000, right? This is very similar to a deal we just closed in Pueblo. Let's say our down payment to the seller is 10,000. We also paid an agent like 9,000. And then there was some seller finance as well, but let's just say we sub to an existing loan, sub to existing loan. Okay. Let's call it 290,000 at 3% interest. Okay. So like, let's say we acquire a deal this way. This is how we buy it, right? So we buy it for 300. We put 10,000 down to the seller. And we'll just erase the agent just to make it a little bit more simple. And then we take over his $290,000 loan at 3%, right? So a wrap is then I would then turn around and sell this property on seller finance. And I would sell it for 350,000 with a down payment of, let's say, 30,000, right? 10%. And then instead of letting him just take over my loan at 3%, I would owner carry, my 320,000, $320,000 loan, right? So that's the difference. 350 minus 30 is 320 at, let's say, a 6.5% interest. So not only am I making $20,000 from the difference of the down payments, but I'm also making the difference of whatever this payment is, 290 at 3% versus my loan, 320 at 6.5%. That's basically what a wrap is. Yeah, and we can go over wraps in more detail on our Friday Zooms, but the reason too why someone might do this, right, is because one, they're not sophisticated enough to go and negotiate this deal to get it good enough. And the reason someone might buy this deal is because they can't go to a bank and get qualified. They might need more than 30,000, or their interest rate might be higher. So there's several reasons why someone might buy it from us this way and sell it to us this way. So that's basically a wrap. It's a very almost literal term where we get a loan, we wrap it with our own loan and sell it. So it's amazing, right? When I learned wraps, I was mind blown too. It's such an amazing strategy. It's so high level. To execute them and close on them is very difficult. But once you learn them and you start closing them, man, you don't want to do anything else. Reasons why like Pace doesn't do wraps is because technically you're not the owner. So you don't, right? Like, let's say in the next year, this property skyrockets to $400,000, $500,000. Your sellers who bought this from you, that's their equity. That's their appreciation. So that's one reason why a lot of investors like Pace doesn't do wraps is because he wants that appreciation. You also can't write off the interest you pay because you're not paying interest. You can't write off, you can't depreciate it because it's not your home, right? So there's reasons why a lot of high level investors don't do wraps. But if you're getting into it, wraps are amazing because there's no property management. You make upfront money like a wholesale, and you make cash flow like a rental, but you don't have to manage it or fix a roof, right? Like in 5 years, if this roof needs to be replaced, that's not on us. That's on the person that bought it. It's their house. So yeah, wraps are truly, truly amazing. Yeah. Okay. See, yeah, I've heard is tough. We have not, we wholesaled one thing. I don't know if you count it as a wholesale. It was a family friend that we sold their property to an investor. Yeah, wraps are amazing, Darian. If you come across any sub-2 seller finance deals like this, we will help you wrap it. Okay. Does anyone have any more questions? I think this was a pretty good Zoom. We did some underwriting. Yeah, I love that, Pam. Yeah, the more we understand, the higher quality of the conversations and our confidence with sellers. But we play newbie and bring in Angie and Dylan or Joey as third party. Yeah, absolutely. And it does not hurt to, like, I will tell someone at the very beginning, we were telling people, yeah, like, so I'm just what you call a bird dog. Like I truly don't know the answer to those questions. Let me get you to my partner who knows the answers, like, don't be afraid to tell that to an agent. They'd much rather you tell that to them than try to, play around or pretend you guys know things that you don't know, which no harm, no foul. Not everybody knows everything. Yeah. Hey, Darian. Yeah. Here's my phone number, bro. There you go. Shoot me a text. Yep.
Hey, quick question, Dylan, too.
Yeah.
I don't know if there are any gators in the group, but I'm a new gator, and I'm curious how everyone structures like their EMD deals that they get, or their double closings, like essentially what it is they charge. Is it 1% of the purchase price for EMDs, or is it does it go against like what they earn? I mean, what the wholesalers earning?
Yeah, that's a great question. I do some gator lending. I have a couple of earnest money loans out right now that I do gator lending on. It really depends. It's really up to you. Like, let's say I'm a wholesaler, I need someone to loan me earnest money. I'm probably gonna shop around. Like if you're gonna charge me, if let's say my earnest money is $5,000 and you're gonna charge me $5,000 on top of the 5,000, right? I'm probably going to go to someone else. Like, especially if I'm a high level investor and I know my deals close, I want to pay a gator lender like $500. But like, let's say, there's so many different ways a gator lender can be utilized. Like wraps are an amazing way a gator lender could be used, right? Because in this scenario, let me go back to it. At the closing table, right, we typically double close. So we have one close date. We close on this transaction, and then in that same day we close on this one. But the title company can't use our buyer's money as a down payment to suffice for our down payment. So we'll have a gator lender come in, loan us this 10,000. And then once this transaction closes, then we get our 10,000, we get 30,000 back, right? And our gator lender, like we just did this. We had a gator lender, we paid him $1,000. He loaned us 20K for 3 days it took, just because it was a weekend. So the money didn't hit our account, but we paid him $1,000 for a $20,000 loan for 3 days. Like he didn't have to do anything but call his bank and wire the money. He was stoked about that. That was the easiest, quickest $1,000 he's ever made. But I would say it all depends. You know, I would negotiate that with whoever you're looking to loan to. Absolutely. I know that doesn't really answer your question, but it's a it depends type of answer, you know.
Yeah, but you said you do it, right? So you don't have a standard fee that you charge? You said like maybe
$1,000
500 or
yeah,
1,000?
500 to $1,000 if it's a small amount. If I trust, that's the most important thing with Gator lending, that when I jumped into it, I did not really understand. It's like you can have money and be a Gator lender, but you also need to know how to underwrite a deal, because if you don't know how to underwrite, how do you know if it's a good deal? You know, like how do you know if that wholesaler has a good deal and you're lending on a possible ticking time bomb, but you have no idea, you know? So like underwriting is very important, but like if you know it's a good deal, you trust this person, they have a buyer lined up, right? It's like it's such easy money to be a Gator lender. Like you just would rather make $1,000 than say pay me 5 and then make nothing because they go with someone else, you know? So
Okay.
yeah,
Cool,
tough to
thank
say,
you.
but I would always
Yeah.
just negotiate it with it. Have a conversation like, hey, what makes the most sense? Like, you know, if your wholesaler is making 5,000, it would probably really hurt them to pay you $1,000. Maybe
Mhm.
500 is better, but if they're making 20K, then maybe 3,000 might make sense, you know? Who knows?
Mhm. Okay, yeah, got it.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Cool. Thanks, Lily.
Mhm.
Okay, let's see. Brian Ross says, could you break down how I could present seller finance to an agent? That is a very loaded question, Brian. Yeah, come to our Friday Zooms, man. We can break that down for you. That's just, I'll sit on this Zoom for the next hour if I answer that question in depth, how I'd like to answer it. So, yeah, Brian, hit me up, man. If I'll offer this for any of you guys. If you want to hear me pitch seller finance live to an agent, come to our Friday Zooms. We do that sometimes, or give me a call and say, hey, I have an agent on the other line. Can you pitch seller finance? I'll do it right there live for you. You can hear me do it on a 3-way call. No, Adarian, our Friday Zooms are at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. This one's at 4 p.m. Mountain Time.
I
Yeah.
also did post our lead form in the chat for you, Brian.
Okay. Yep.
You can either do that or call Brian. It is easier for Dylan if you fill out the lead form, so we have all of the numbers ready to go.
Yep. Brian, make sure you fill that out. That would definitely help us.
And all of those lead forms and everything are in our Facebook group.
Cool. Rachel, do you have anything else?
Nope, I just put the name of the chat of our Facebook group. Let me just add,
Okay.
get the Facebook group link again for Brian. And you can also add me on Facebook. My profile on Facebook is my same as my name on Zoom, and my profile picture is like the same, Brian. So if you've got any questions, please reach out to me. So then Dylan can continue to close and underwrite.
And then 2 for everyone else. This Zoom, we are actually going to start going live. So from now on, all of our past Zooms are in the creative Facebook group with Pace Morby on either Angie or mine on our Facebook pages. But from now on, every Zoom we do will go on Angie's YouTube channel. So I think, yeah. So yeah, we're live right here. Let me copy this and post it in the chat. So if you guys want to get access to this Zoom recording, it will be on Angie's YouTube channel. I just posted that link in the chat. Make sure you guys all go and subscribe to that. And then all of our future Zooms will be recorded on that as well too. So yeah, thank you guys. Thank you for showing up. Again, my phone number one more time in the chat. Shoot me a text message if you guys need any help throughout the week. There's Rachel's phone number. Shoot her a text. Angie's phone number is in her name, so shoot her a text. But yeah, feel free to reach out to us, add us on Facebook, shoot me a DM, fill out the DL form link if you guys have any questions. I encourage you guys to go out there, make a bunch of phone calls, cause some havoc, piss some agents off, try to get deals. If you get stuck, hit us up. We can help you out. And if not, we will see you guys Friday at 10 a.m. Mountain Time for our next Elephant Challenge Zoom. And we wish you the best of luck. Peace.
Wait, Dylan, I wanted to take a picture.
Take a picture.
So stop the share then.
Yeah.
Okay, hang on.
If you guys want to turn your cameras on for the picture.
Cool.